One of the few unequivocally universal parts of being human is unfailingly true that man must eat and drink to live, so too must he sleep if he wishes to wake. A world unto itself, unique yet uncanny, plagued by visions of impossible happenings, dreams have enchanted men as long as men could be enchanted. Monographs of the subject have been written for over 5,000 years, yet few compare to the masterwork of Artemidorus. An ancient Greek oneiromancer or dream interpreter, he penned Oneirocritica in 200 AD, and for nearly 2 millennia after, it reigned as the single most vivid and complete compendium on the study of dreams, only surpassed by Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams in 1897. For reference, if it were written today, we would have to wait until 3800 for a better work to arise. The Oneirocritica was written similar to a formulary, intending for his work to be read and practically applied by contemporary dream diviners. Artemidorus, along with the broader Greek milieu, believed in the prophetic essence of dreams. When deciphered by professional analysts, these nocturnal visions could offer the dreamer valuable foresight. He traveled extensively to gain global insight on the meaning of dreams, venturing from the Italic Peninsula to Asia Minor. His mission and study culminated in a series of 5 books, all wielding substantial substance. Artemidorus was a pioneer in a sense. His then infamous quote, "Dreams are products of the mind and do not come from any external source," was revolutionary. Some contemporary figures like Aristotle agreed. Apart from its general irrationality, the idea that it is a god who sends dreams, and yet he sends them not to the best and most intelligent, but to random people, is absurd. Pretty much, Aristotle didn't like the stupid people dreamed. While dreams were exclusively human emanations, Artemidorus held that dreams, or at least some of them, were predictive. In his view, not all dreams required interpretation, since not all dreams predicted the future. This broke dreams into 2 categories: enhypnia, non-significant or predictive dreams, and oneiroi, dreams predictive of the future. Enhypnia are simply the result of an irrational desire or an irrational fear. These emerge from the depths of the unconscious mind, manifesting as narrative dreams, unlike their prophetic counterparts that primarily operate through symbols. As Artemidorus says, something does not happen to the dreamer, but instead he sees something dependent on his passions. Since oneiromancy is an outcome-oriented process, unlike psychoanalysts who analyze dreams to understand the unconscious, Greek interpreters did so for pragmatic benefits of understanding the future. As such, enhypnia dreams are of no concern to Artemidorus. However, it's worth underlining the significance of Artemidorus' inclusion of desires and fears as cause of non-predictive dreams. This was entirely ahead of its time and would be utilized millennia later. The admittedly more fascinating oneiroi have 2 subcategories: allegorical, showing the future by means of symbols, and theorematic. Outcome corresponds literally to the vision. If you were to dream of a shipwreck, will you die in a shipwreck, or will you be metaphorically freed from a bondage? The method of distinction is pragmatic. Theorematic dreams happen instantly and leave no time for consultation. As you essentially have no choice, it's best to only concern yourself with allegorical oneiroi. Almost all dream interpretation, at least that which Artemidorus is concerned with, deals with these allegorical oneiroi. Riddle-like in nature, oneiromancy sees itself as a science, creating universal formula for the purpose of de-encrypting the encoded dream messages. Let us now step into the machinations of this ancient scientific pursuit. More important than building up an intellectual framework of deconstructing symbols, Artemidorus preaches para, experience of interpretation from oneself and others. In no case of actual analysis does he solely rely on conjecture or allegory, precisely because cause is an unwieldy tool. You must not let yourself be misled into thinking that causes, ideologia, you assign do actually determine the outcomes. Just because the dream offers a cause to the happening or that you provide external reason, there may just be allegories pointing towards the future, not causal factors forcing outcome. They are semiotic, symbolic, not the actual chain which pulls the wheel of time round. Since the outcome is consistent, there must be some logical underlying relationship between dream symbol and outcome. You therefore infer a cause, aitia. Your inference is that oak signifies old age because oak trees are long-lived. This assignment of cause, ideologia, may be right or it may be wrong. You do not know. It is simply the best you can come up with from your own resources. Analogous to the frame problem in AI, where an AI system struggle with understanding true causality, They recognize patterns and correlations, but determining the actual cause-effect relationship is far more complex. While causal link is inferred in tying symbol and outcome, the underlying mechanism connecting the two is unclear. Thus, one must be wary of becoming over-reliant on ascribed cause, and instead, he must build up a practical intuition based upon the real-world outcome of past events. Artemidorus believed that if we were to amass a sufficient volume of data encompassing dreams and their subsequent real-life outcomes, a purely empirical formula would be achieved, erasing the need for symbolic analysis. As this was functionally impossible, his current analogical approach was based on a dream's conformity to 6 stoichia, elements or rational principles. Essentially, the closer a dream is to real observable phenomena, the more likely it is to be good. The more it diverges, the worse the outcome. The 6 weights to be measured against are as follows. They seem highly abstract and nonsensical, but will make sense with a few examples. 1. All phenomena in the waking world exists by nature or through culture. 2. Culture can be subdivided into 2 components, law, acting in accordance with rules, or 3. Custom, acting in accordance with tradition. 4. All cultural phenomena take place at discrete times in the history of man. 5. Men can perform actions without art or skill. 6. All phenomena have a discrete name or identifying characteristic. Take the following cases to show the principle's usefulness. By nature, men have 1 nose. If you dream of having 2 noses or no nose, your dream is more likely to be inauspicious, holding negative connotations, as it is contrary to nature, violating principle 1. Another example, wearing a garland is auspicious, holding positive connotations as it agrees with custom, adhering to principle 3, but if worn out of season, violates principle 1, accordance with nature. In cases with contradictions, a hierarchy is enforced. The higher-ranking stoichia trumps the lower. Here, accordance with nature is the higher, and as such, it outweighs the dream's benevolence. Within this archaic framework of natural accordance, personhood is just as important. This is not to be mistaken with personality, which is the core component of psychoanalytic tradition. Artemidorus believes that your individuality, or who you are, is of no importance to meaningful interpretation. What matters is your objective position within a web of social relationships. In unspoken 7th stoichia, this allows for further correspondence to dream conformity. For example, if you are a high-ranking noble dreaming of toiling in the field, this would be inauspicious as it belittles your social status, not conforming to the waking world. However, if you were a farmer dreaming of planting crops, this would indicate conformity and therefore auspiciousness. Context is direly important, for 2 identical dreams could indicate wildly different fortunes for 2 unique people. Once conformity has been determined and dream auspiciousness revealed, the second step is to conclude the dream's symbolic foretelling. Artemidorus believes that the symbolic meaning reveals itself through a set of binary oppositions based on spatial orientation. Right and left, above and below, back and front. Within this dualistic approach, one side indicates benevolence and the other malevolence. The vertical relationship, above and below, relates to social hierarchy, an intuitive phenomena for thousands of years. Above represents mastery and superiority, below subordination. For slaves, a dream of decapitation represents freedom. The head is the master of the body. Once the master is gone, subordination is no more. Thus, the slave will be freed from his duties. So too is flying in an upright position auspicious. On top of preserving natural bodily orientation, in accordance with Stoichia 1, it symbolizes the raising of social status. This could mean magistrates for the rich, success of a merchant, or better standing for a slave. Horizontal relationships are more confusing as their primary component is gender. The right is significant of male, the left, female. This can also hold connotations with respect to age, the right being older, the left younger. Given the patriarchal nature of ancient Greece, right is indicative of auspiciousness and left is malign. If one dreams of a god, such as Zeus, gesturing with his right hand to someone sickly, it indicates a good spirit and health. A gesture from the left represents the opposite. When dreaming of teeth, which apparently used to be common, the right molars indicate men of the house, the left side, the women. With eyes, the right is significant of a son, brother, or father, and the left of a daughter, sister, or mother. If there are 2 sons or daughters, the right eye shows older, the left eye the younger. While horizontal symbol's secondary component is age, front and back are solely used to denote age. The front, younger half, represents goodness. The back, older half, represents negative virtues. It holds ties with death, the ending of life, and the future, what is to come. If someone dreams that the back of his head is bald, he will experience poverty and serious destitution in his old age. All rear parts of the body signify old age, and as such are referred to as Pluto's province. Whatever condition these parts play in a dream, they will show the condition of their old age. This seems counterintuitive, as old age should be symbolic of the past and youth the future. Historian Maurizio Bettini says, "Formally, we could say that knowledge stands in a hierarchy above the spatial location of future and past. Whenever it enters into play, the usual localization gets inverted. In more human terms, knowledge is triumphant over intuitive spatial archetypes, so much so, whenever self-awareness of spatial intuitions is involved, processes invert. Because knowledge is so powerful and symbolically overarching, it inverts the natural ordering of events." I know that sounds really confusing, so let's get back to the smoother brain wordplay method. Artemidorus says, "A wolf signifies a year because of its name, Lycos. A poetical word for years is lycobantes. Homophones, words that sound similar to one another, are a perfectly legitimate way to ascribe meaning to dream symbols. Such is true for numerology, where two words holding the same numerical value hold similar meanings. This is calculated by ascribing numbers to the letters based on their place in the respective alphabet. In practice, a hernia, all letters adding to 66 in the Greek alphabet, is a symbol of injuries partly because the two words have the same numerical value, 66. Traditional interpretation is more intuitive. It takes the symbol at face value as a metaphor relating its intrinsic properties to some aspect of the human condition. The oak tree signifies a rich man because of its nutritional value, an old man because of its longevity, and time itself for the same reason. As you could expect, metaphors derived are highly dependent on cultural context. A dream of a pig would have entirely different societal implications within an Islamic culture as compared to Greek. As symbols evolve, their connotations grow. The interpreter must avoid trying to find something new which is consistent with the old. And so, it's the oneiromancer's job, by all methods above, to understand the new life breathed into each symbol by every iteration of human experience. And throughout all his methods of analysis, old or new, esoteric or reasonable, Artemidorus held one truth to be ineffable, implied without explanation. Dreams transcend time, predictive of future events. I want to put aside methods of interpretation and move to the metaphysics of Artemidorus' dream world. Dreams telling the future are the elephant in the room. A more subtle, and I guess more hidden, and also kind of bigger elephant in the same room is the implication of a malleable future. While dreams predict the future, with proper analysis and proactive choices, the inauspicious possible futures can be avoided. That's a given, or else dream interpretation wouldn't be a prominent occupation within Greco-Roman times. If you truly had no choice, like theorematic dreams, there would be no reason to seek counsel. 'Cause action determinately shapes the future, as possible outcomes are avoided, this implies some form of free will. I guess it's technically never definitive, but this gets really close to that point. With respect to the future, Artemidorus offers some form of explanation as to the mechanisms of dream and time. An oneiroi is a movement or complex molding within the mind or the soul, psyche, which indicates what will happen in the future, whether good or bad. He seems to conceive of the psyche as something that possesses its own autonomous identity and agency. When the mind wishes to signify something to the dreamer, it presents it to the dreamer in symbolic form. Occasionally, this hardens into an explicit soul-body dualism where the soul completely takes reign over dreams. Take the case in Book 4. A man dreamt that he was shedding his flesh like a snake sloughing its old skin. He died on the following day. This is the sort of fantasia produced by the soul when it is about to leave the body. In modern terms, we could more aptly classify this as the dreamer's unconscious. I'm reminded here of a passage by Mary Louise von Franz, a prominent student of Swiss psychoanalyst Carl Jung. The unconscious seems to deliver models which can be arrived at directly from within without looking at outer facts, and which afterwards seem to fit outer reality. Is that a miracle or not? There are two possible explanations. Either the unconscious knows about other realities, or what we call the unconscious is a part of the same thing as outer reality, for we do not know how the unconscious is linked with matter. If a wonderful idea as to how to explain gravitation comes up from within me, can I say that it is the non-material unconscious giving me a wonderful idea about material reality? Or should I say that the unconscious gives me such a marvelous idea of outer reality because it itself is linked with matter? It is a phenomenon of matter, and matter knows matter? We can only speculate or make a hypothesis that probably the unconscious has a material aspect, which would be why it knows about matter, because it is matter. It is matter which knows itself, as it were. If this were so, then there would be a dim or vague phenomenon of consciousness even in inorganic matter. Given the unconscious's role as puppeteer of dreams, with some autonomous drive, it would make sense for it to be connected with something external, to provide messages that aren't senseless but provide some efficacy. Even deeper down the rabbit hole, this implies that the directedness of time is little more than a cognitive illusion, not the simple linear progression commonly perceived. Were time to be an overarching universal passage, unconscious would fail to provide the dreamer with future events. As time passes synonymously for it and us, it only becomes aware of the future as the present progresses. Within this conception, time is not embedded within space and matter, but arises as a function of human consciousness, projected onto the non-ego, external world. Quantum theory introduces a similarly novel idea that at the most fundamental level of matter, processes can occur without a specific direction in time, and as such, are generally time reversible. This all implies that the arrow of time as experienced by us could be an emergent property of consciousness rather than an intrinsic property of nature. Whether such speculation has credence or is solely interesting, Artemidorus wouldn't care. He was staunchly against debate as to whether divination was possible, and if so, what faculties enabled it. Reductively, he saw that logic favored that Oneiroi was created solely by the dreamer and his psychical processes. He saw himself as a practitioner, not as a philosopher. As such, the Oneirocritica was a manual, not a treatise. He could only give guides as to what the dreams will indicate, not the how or why as to its happenings. And so, 2,000 years later, from Freud to Jung, psychoanalysis to neuroscience, theory to theory, we still debate over dreams, their meaning, their processes, and their source. As such, we are left little closer to truth than Artemidorus and his rich, interesting, and confusing manuscript left us. Thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you stick around if you're interested in these kind of esoteric topics. I haven't gotten a proper chance to thank you all for that reception, the love, the support on that first video. It is insane to me. I can't process it. You guys showed me so much love. So many of you stuck around. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. Thank you all so much. My main goal for this channel is to create community. I really want to meet people that are interested in these same kind of weird, like dream, alchemy, esoteric, historical topics that are super interesting to me. So I just launched the Discord. The link should be in the link should be in the description. I think that's what people say. I really hope to see you guys there. I want to talk to you all about what you want to see from this channel, what kind of stuff you're interested in that maybe I could research more, just the general reception, and I just want to chat with you guys. The history of lucid dreaming video, I'm trying to get that out soon. I'm in the finals for fall semester, so it's a bit of a rough time. I'm trying to get this one out, just like a little sneak peek before then. Hopefully you're interested in it. I'm gonna try and get my timestamps up to like 30-35 minutes, get more long form content for you guys. Yeah, I mean, just once again, I thank you all so much for your support. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you're listening to this, just hop in the Discord and send me a message, say what's up. Yeah, Thank you all a million times over again. I know for a seemingly organized video, this is a ranty way to end it, but it means the most to me. So hopefully I'll see you on the next video and in the Discord, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, night, or afternoon, whatever it is for you. So see you next time.